Nobody is talking about this San Francisco Giants reliever being a part of the team on 2026, but I am here to tell you why he should absolutely be on the 2026 roster. But before we discuss that, make sure to subscribe below and welcome back to SF Giants Digest. Now, as you saw in the intro, the guy we're talking about today is the one, the only Ryan Walker, who has had an interesting career up to this point. Obviously, he put his name on the map with a really impressive 2024. Here you see all relievers, or the top performing relievers who threw at least 70 innings. And in terms of wins above replacement, according to Fangraphs, Ryan Walker is the 5th best. So of any reliever who threw 70 innings in 2024, Ryan Walker was the 5th best of anybody. Obviously, you see those top guys up there. Emmanuel Clase was a Cy Young candidate as a reliever, which is absolutely insane. But, just two behind him was Ryan Walker. And, this put some heavy expectations on Ryan Walker heading into 2025. Now, this is just baseball.com. They do a ranking of every position going into the season, and they had Ryan Walker as the 13th best reliever in all of baseball. At the bottom there, you see all of the different editors of Just Baseball, where they ranked him in terms of the top relievers in Major League Baseball. You see 15, 12, 13, 14, so pretty much all between the 12 and 15 range, which gives you a lot of confidence with the reliever heading into the season. But as we know it, relievers is the most volatile position in baseball, if not the most volatile position in all of sports. And very quickly, we saw that volatility in its peak performance. Early in the year, Ryan Walker did not have a good start. This is him from the beginning of the season till May 11th, when he was still the closer. He did have 7 saves, but it was just not looking good. He had a 6.43 earned run average in 14 innings, 15 strikeouts in those 14 innings. So he was striking out over 9.5 guys per 9 innings, but he was also walking almost 3.5 guys per 9 innings, which is just too much. When you're a closer, the one thing you cannot allow is walks. And we saw that with Camilo Doval for the majority of his career here. When he got hurt, it was when he would walk guys. Now, this led to Camilo Doval, who had a good start to the year, being named the closer, and Ryan Walker losing that closer title. It was a couple months while Camilo Doval was the closer, up until he got traded to the New York Yankees, basically, which he's been awful for the most part, but that's neither here nor there. And then Randy Rodriguez was named the closer after Doval, and he ended up getting hurt. Here you see Shayna Rubin, one of the beat writers for the Giants. She says, Randy Rodriguez is scheduled to have Tommy John surgery during the last week of September. That was a big blow for the Giants. Rodriguez emerged as an all-star. We've talked about that a little bit, but I want to focus on this time period where Ryan Walker was not the closer of the San Francisco Giants. He was kind of the 7th, 8th guy and a setup guy. He wasn't in as many high leverage situations just because he hadn't showed a lot of he hadn't had a lot of good performances in the high leverage situations earlier in the year. But here you see what he did during that time where he wasn't necessarily the closer of the San Francisco Giants. He did have 4 saves during this time. This is from May 28th till September 3rd. He had 4 saves. He did have 7 holds, but in 36 innings, he had 38 strikeouts, only 7 walks, which was a 9.5 Ks per 9 versus a 1.75 walks per 9, and only a 0.75 home runs per 9. He wasn't allowing a lot of long balls, a 51% ground ball rate, and he had a 2.50 ERA in those 36 innings, which was just the complete opposite of what we saw from him earlier in the year as the closer. I'm not sure if it's a mentality thing or a pressure thing, but Ryan Walker as a 7th, 8th inning guy, not as much of a high pressure closer role, performs a lot better. Now, this is something I put out on Twitter while doing some research for this video, but I said working on a video and found something really interesting from this season. Now, Ryan Walker in the 6th, 7th, or 8th inning, these are all from 2025, 26 games, a 2.88 ERA, a 30% strikeout rate, and a 4% walk rate, which is obviously really good, and a .96 whip. Now, him in the 9th inning, which is when he's been the closer, 36 games, a 4.5 ERA, only a 7.5 Ks per 9, which is an 18% strikeout rate, so 18 versus 30%, and then an 8% walk rate, which is double the 4% walk rate of him in the 6th, 7th, and 8th inning, and then a 1.40 whip. Now, it's pretty clear that he's performed a lot better in the 6th, 7th, 8th innings versus the 9th innings, and I think it's pretty simple. To to put it in short words, he's just not a closer. I'm not sure if it's a mentality thing. I'm not sure if it's a pressure thing. He's just not to be trusted when there's a lead. And in the 9th inning, we've seen that very recently versus the Diamondbacks. He blew a lead. He almost blew this most recent game versus the Diamondbacks. Thankfully, he got out of it, and the Giants ended up winning in extra innings. But he could be a reason why the Giants aren't in the playoffs, if we're being honest. Just a couple of bad outings early in the year costed them wins. A couple of recent outings since he's been renamed the closer, costing them wins that are important down the stretch. It seems like the Giants are going to miss the playoffs by 2 or 3 games, and Ryan Walker is definitely responsible for a couple of games earlier in the year, but it's not only on him, of course. The offense has been bad all year. But going back to the conversation, I think it's simple that Ryan Walker excels in the 6th, 7th, 8th inning. I think ideally he's your 7th inning guy. I think the Giants should re-sign Tyler Rogers in the offseason, and then you have a good, you have Ryan Walker in the 7th, Tyler Rogers in the 8th, and then you need to figure out the closer, whether it's Joel Peguero, when Randy Rodriguez gets back, maybe it's him, or you go sign a Ryan Helsley, an Edwin Diaz, someone like that. But the Giants definitely need to figure out their bullpen, and I'm here to say that Ryan Walker is absolutely a part of that situation. Now, if you go on Twitter and you just search Ryan Walker on the search bar, all of the responses that come up are going to be negative. And this is not me, firing shots at any of these guys on Twitter who are all pretty big creators, but they say, get Ryan Walker off this team. Do not bring back Ryan Walker. Ryan Walker loves to lose. First of all, he does not love to lose. No one likes to lose. But the majority of the responses are, get Ryan Walker off this team. He shouldn't be on this team. He's losing us games. And he is losing us a couple of games, but I am here to tell you that Ryan Walker will be a big part of the 2026 Giants and even beyond. He's just not a closer, simply put. He is so good in the middle innings, the 6th, the 7th, the 8th. He is nasty. He cannot have the pressure of being a closer on him. It's clear, it's been shown that he does not perform well in those high leverage situations where he has, a short lead, and he gives it up pretty quickly when he's the closer. He's had a couple of outings where he looked locked down. In 2024, he was absolutely disgusting as a closer, and that's why the expectations were so high for him heading into 2025. But 2025 has shown us that he is not a closer. He doesn't perform well in those situations. And with the majority of the San Francisco Giants fan base saying that Ryan Walker should not be on this team and should be DFA'd, even some people saying he should be cut, released, I'm here to tell you that he will be a big part of the Giants making a playoff run next year, even trying to get to the World Series with how this offense has shown some bright spots of late, not as of immediately late, but that month-long stretch they're winning ball games. So I am the one to tell you that Ryan Walker should be on the Giants, should not be DFA'd. And in terms of him being the closer right now, you really don't have a better option. Obviously, Joel Peguero has performed very well, but at the time of Randy Rodriguez going down with Tommy John, you had no one else to turn to. Joel Peguero was a rookie who had barely thrown any games, and Ryan Walker did have experience closing games, whether you like it or not. You cannot blame Bob Melvin for that one. You can't blame Buster Posey. He was the only guy you could turn to in that situation. So let me know in the comments below what you think about this conversation. Do you think Ryan Walker should be DFA'd? Do you think he should be released by the San Francisco Giants? Or are you on the same line as me where you think Ryan Walker should be kept because of how valuable he is in the 6th, 7th, 8th innings? Do you think he is going to be a big part of the Giants moving forward? Where do you think he stands as of right now towards the end of 2025? Let me know in the comments, and make sure to subscribe to SF Giants Digest. Thanks.